Hi, so this is the data set that we went over in class, and to get to this I just double clicked on the commute data set from the My Courses page, and this is what comes up. So we've got two variables in this data set, cities 1 through 4, and the amount of time that people spent commuting in each of those 4 cities. So you can see as we scroll down, there's 123 observations. So this is the data view. If you go over and look at the variable view, there's several features I wanted you to see. Each variable has a row here. There's each variable has a type, and these are both numeric. The other one that you'll see pretty commonly is string, and that's just if you've got characters. If you want to decrease the decimals, all of our numbers that we have don't have any decimal places. They're just whole numbers. So if we decrease the decimals to 0, you can go over here and see that we don't see the decimals anymore. Label is a really nice feature because maybe we want it to be something specific, like commute distance in miles. So it's nice that that'll show up on labels in any of our charts and graphs that we do. Values is a nice feature as well. So our cities, if we want to give them names, we just click on the little ellipses in the box and say that city 1 represents, I don't know, Charlotte, and click add, and then 2 represents Atlanta, 3 represents Chicago, and maybe 4 represents San Francisco. Okay, when you're finished with that, you can just click OK, and then that'll show up on our output as well. When you've got the values in there, you can go back to data view and go to view value labels, and it'll show you the value labels instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. The measure is the other thing that's important in here. So choices are scale, which for us means ratio or interval, and then ordinal and nominal, which you know. Alright, so the first thing that I wanted you to do on the assignment was to analyze the qualitative variable, so the city variable. And I wanted you to do a frequency distribution and either a bar chart or a pie chart. So to do that, we're going to analyze descriptive statistics, and this is for the qualitative variable. We're going to frequencies, and we pick our qualitative variable and move it over, and this says display frequency tables. We do want that. You can click on these options and see, you know, different things you might want to output. We don't really want any of this here because our values are qualitative. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, but we don't want to see the mean of that because that doesn't make sense. Charts, we do want to see either a bar chart or a pie chart, so we'll pick bar chart. And then you can pick frequencies or percentages. Let's just leave it on frequencies. So if you click OK, the output window comes up, and it'll show you, first of all, how many observations we have. We have 123 observations, and we didn't have any missing data. If we did, it would show up as just dots instead of the values in the cells over here on the left. And then this tells us what our frequencies are, and then our relative frequencies for each city. And then you know, we can see the bar chart. You can edit these charts, by the way, by just double clicking on any of them, and some options will open up and you can kind of play with it, but you don't have to do that. It's just something that's available to you. So that's the qualitative variable. Then to analyze the quantitative variable, we're going to analyze descriptive statistics again, but this time we want explore. And there's several ways to get to the mean, median, and those kind of things, but this is the only way that'll get you the box plot. So we're going to take our quantitative variable, commute distance, move that to dependent list, and under statistics we want our descriptives. We also want outliers. Outliers is what's going to give us the box plot. So we click continue, and then under plots, we really don't want the stem and leaf, but we do want the histogram. So uncheck the stem and leaf and check the histogram. So click continue, click OK, and again we get the number of observations. This tells us the mean, the median, the standard deviation, interquartile range is all there. Any other stuff that's on there you don't need to know because we haven't covered it, and so you don't need to talk about it in your write-up. Here's our histogram, and so you can talk about that. And here's the box plot. The box plot shows two outliers on here. One is the 30th observation and the other is the 28th observation. And if we want to look at what those are, we can go see where they are. So we've got the 28th observation was Charlotte, and so was the 30th observation. So that lets you go look at what the data was. In larger data sets, that's a really nice thing to do. So that's our quantitative variable. Now if we want to analyze them together, I go back to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Explore. We're going to do almost exactly the same thing here, except our factor list is going to be city. And one other thing, here I don't really care about seeing the histograms, so we can uncheck the histogram and click continue. So click OK, and so we get our number of observations again. Now here what we have is, this tells us the mean, median, standard deviation, etc. commute distance for Charlotte, and then again the same information for Atlanta, and then for Chicago and San Francisco. And then we get a side-by-side box plot, so you can tell which ones vary the most, which ones vary the least, where the locations are. So the lines in the middle are the medians, so it looks like cities 2, 3, and 4 have about the same median, whereas city 1 has the lowest. And then you can see for each group, you can see what the outliers are. Okay, so almost finished. There's just one more thing we need to do, and that's once you do all your analysis, go to File, Export. So we're going to export this to a Word document. So let's see, what we get here is, we want to make sure it says .doc. I usually would just browse to my desktop and then type in a file name, example spss.doc, and click Save, and then click OK, and you see it's saving the export to a file. And if I go to my desktop, it should be there. And I don't see it. Oh yeah, there it is. So this is what you're going to turn in for your SPSS output. It says on the sheet what I want is to see, I want the output at the end of your write-up. Now another thing here I need to show you is I don't want all of this stuff. I only want what's important, and on the second page of your handout it tells you exactly what I want to see. There's kind of a checklist. Some of the output in SPSS is computer speak and stuff like this. I don't want that. So just click and delete. I do want the frequency table, all of the charts, but I don't want a lot of this stuff. Another thing I don't need and don't really want to see is these extreme values. That's just a byproduct of doing the box plots. Alright, so I guess that's it. Pay close attention to the handout and let me know any questions you have. Alright, so I guess that's